Hi everyone, and welcome to another episode of Ask, Learn, Grow, the show where the Reef team answer questions and share insights and updates from the digital marketing industry. I'm joined today by Melanie Williams, who's our Head of Strategy and Conversion here at Reef, and Mel's going to talk about some key metrics to use during website optimization. But I guess before we get into that, Mel, would you mind explaining to people exactly what you mean by optimization in regards to this topic today?
Sure. Hey, Scott. So optimization, as we all know, the ultimate goal of any business really is to increase the conversions coming from their website, be it sales or signups or leads. So the concept of optimization really entails finding areas on your website which, when you change them up, can lead to higher conversion rates. Okay,
it seems quite straightforward in terms of the concept, but it is also quite a big meaty concept and a big meaty topic. So where would you start with all this?
Yeah, in the age of big data, it's certainly easy to get lost down that rabbit hole of metrics. Everything can be measured these days. So the trick is figuring out which information is going to drive improvements and become key performance indicators of your business success.
Okay, so let's just talk about the KPIs for a moment, which people obviously be familiar with in sort of the general concept of marketing and business. But how are they important, or how do they factor into optimization activities in this context?
Yeah, by definition, KPIs are quantifiable activities used to measure how key aspects of your business are operating. KPIs are metrics, but not all metrics are KPIs. Just because something is measurable, it doesn't always mean that this information is going to be useful to you. Like all KPIs, optimization activities should be aligned really closely to your company goals. Every action a user takes on your site is technically a conversion, be it a micro conversion, which is an action taken on the path to a bigger revenue generating goal, or it's a macro conversion, which is the primary goal of your website to convert traffic into more revenue. But micro conversions are just not KPIs. They're important as they can indicate which areas of your site might need attention, but in themselves, they're not really useful unless tied to a higher KPI or goal.
Okay, so one concept people may or may not be familiar with is goal trees. I'm not sure if you want to kind of cover a little bit about that and how that goal trees relate to KPIs.
Absolutely. Essentially, goal trees are a really easy way to visualize that flow down of your top level business goals into some really key KPIs, and then from there into really specific key metrics to achieve those KPIs. Essentially, goal trees translate your business goals into some concrete optimization activities that are going to generate return on investment for you. There's a number of different good tools that you could use to generate a goal tree. Optimizely, for example, provides some really great templates of goal trees that you can use, or you can just manually create a spreadsheet that you can use with both your management and your marketing teams and just fill it out from there. Each business will have really different business goals, and it's imperative that you as a marketer know what these are, because without this knowledge, it's going to be impossible for you to know what activities are deserving of your time and your budget. You could be focusing all your energies on improving a nice sounding metric that at the end of a campaign, yeah, you might have increased, but it's not actually contributed to any return on investment and driven any business goals.
Okay, so what would be some examples of some good KPIs that someone might want to set in relation to a website optimization project?
Yeah, again, KPIs, they really need to be specific to your business. But if you're going to start somewhere, in general, there's some areas that you may wish to consider. This includes looking at revenue per visitor, or your RPV, is simply the average amount of money that you make per visitor. It's a really good metric because it provides a direct insight into which website actions ultimately translate directly into dollars for your business. The second one is conversion rate. So if you can't measure money, so for example, it's a lead generation website, so nothing's being directly sold, just having a look at your conversion rate and trying to increase that is the next best thing. Third, you could look at your customer acquisition cost. So gaining customers requires a certain financial investment, as you know. Your budgetary number for how much you spend to acquire a customer is known as the customer acquisition cost. The initial cost per customer should be less than the profit that you've made once they're converted. The goal here is to look at the way that you're running your processes so that you minimize your expenditures and the time taken to acquire these customers, therefore maximizing your profit. And the final one, number 4, customer lifetime value. The customer lifetime value, or the CLV, is one of the key stats likely to be tracked as part of a customer experience program. A CLV is a measurement of how valuable a customer is to your company with an unlimited time span as opposed to just the first purchase. This metric is really important to help you understand a reasonable cost per acquisition.
Okay, so once you've got some good KPIs to kind of get going with there, Mel, thanks for sharing those. Once you've identified the useful KPIs that are applicable to your website optimization project, where would somebody go from there then?
Yeah, so this is the time that you now look at each individual KPI that you feel is important to your business and assess which of those micro conversions are feeding into it. So for example, if you're looking at your customer conversion costs, you might wish to focus on a metric around your website traffic sources. Do you have a large percentage of traffic coming from campaigns that you're paying for? What if you invested some time in your technical SEO for site so that you can increase the number of visitors coming to your site organically, or that you're not paying for? Or if you know that it takes a certain number of visits to site before your visitor converts, you may want to look at your new versus returning users. New users are great, but unless they all convert on their first visit, which is very often not the case, you may want to look at ways that you can convince users to come back to your site again and again. Some other great metrics that you may wish to consider are interactions per visit. So how many pages did they visit? Did they go to your blog page? And did they use the search function? This can show a couple of things. One, that they're engaging on your site to find out some more information, which is great. Or conversely, that they're needing to search around to find what they want, which is a problem. So this is where you need to dig a little bit deeper. Also, time on site. An average session duration and average time on page indicate how engaged your visitors are on your site. Is it providing them the information that they need to make a decision in your favor? Or did they exit after just a minute or two? Loading times, absolutely imperative. So the faster that a page loads, the better. Anything that's more than about 3 seconds and you've potentially lost a visit. At the same time, you need to ensure that your site is mobile optimized and it loads on all browsers and devices. If people can't access your page quickly on the device of their choice, then potentially you've lost them. It's important to remember that you have a plethora of options when it comes to tracking metrics and therefore making decisions on where you should focus your optimization efforts. The key point here is that you should only invest in optimization activities which are going to have a direct impact on your unique business goals. Can you clearly see the flow down from these goals to your KPIs? Do you understand which metrics are feeding into these KPIs? If yes, then these metrics should be your focus for optimization efforts, whatever they may be.
Great stuff. Thanks for sharing all those insights, Mel. That kind of wraps up today's call. So if you've got any questions about website optimization or anything that we covered in today's call, feel free to send them in and we're always happy to help. If you'd like to see the team answer a particular question or cover a topic in a future video, again, send in your recommendations and we'll see what we can do. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel to be notified of when the next video is available. Apart from that, thanks all for watching and enjoy the rest of your day.